The preview screen actually looks pretty nice. Which is kind of surprising. It almost always looks like shit in all of the games that I've done up to this point. Now this one is a little bit different. In large part because this is probably my favorite game. I've streamed it a few times before, and last time I streamed it, I did it in 480p because the game really looks like shit if I extend it out to 720p. I'll try to extend it out to 720p. This time I'm doing this stream in 1080p. Largely because I've realized, hey, I can set this to be a 960 vertical game in OBS and have some pleasant looking borders around it. Okay. Additionally, because I'd been watching Xandra's streams, I realized, you know, having your notes on screen, having, you know, things of that nature, where you're able to bring them up, look very, very nice. Her streams are fantastic. Strong recommends from me. Please, give this story an ending. Young girl, I beg of you, please carry on my will to the end. Oh, hey, I just noticed. Web captioner, changed my settings, or didn't save my settings. I'm not sure which. Now, the obvious thing you can do here, well, I mean the obvious, the doors are, at present, locked. So the obvious thing is to come up here and talk to Laylaria. Looks like we have a new arrival. My name's Laylaria. Wonderful to meet you. There should be one vacant room. I'll show you the way. If I can walk there. Now, I think she actually did have dialogue there. This isn't actually relevant because this isn't how we are going to start it. There is something, of course, hidden. It's one of the few things that are actually legitimately hidden. Yeah, I did fuck it up. Not a big deal. Well, I say that, but the bit of dialogue that she has is story relevant, so. There was someone staying here until a little while ago. Unfortunately, the coward took care of him. So now we have a vacant room. Please make yourself at home. As I mentioned, though, there's a secret. If you instead of talking to her, that is, leave. Now, we can't just leave and come back in. We have to make it into the entrance of the first dungeon. Which is, I mean, in this case, the rats are being very friendly, but sometimes can be very difficult. And I like going to the second screen. I don't think it matters. To the best of my knowledge, it's just enter the Demon King's castle. But I seem to recall one of the times I tried it, it did not work. So it's possible that I fully expect that to have been human error. Now, because I was a little bit slow coming up, we missed Laylaria entering a hidden room. Now, presumably when she did so, her hair got caught there. Now, the hair is mostly relevant because it's really, really ridiculous. We have a guaranteed spot where we can get one later, but getting a second one is very nice. Also, these have a chance to drop millet. They did not in this case. It's not a big deal. What this is the end of tutorial for the game, in as much as there is a tutorial. The all-purpose slots are really what set this game's equipment stuff apart from most RPG Maker games. What? I'm busy right now. And that's Mole. That is one of two people we actually have access to talk to right now. Well, one of two additional people. Would you like to read a story? Why don't you pick a time when everyone is in and try visiting their rooms? Now, something I didn't point out is there's these little name tags next to the rooms. Obviously that's Camille's room. This is Laylaria's room. There is Randolph's room. Nana Elawanto's room. And Ikukumo's room. Now, we've not run into those people, but once we do, their rooms will be open. And there is Aaron, buying your used crap since 1982. Now, I forget the exact thing to get Aaron to open up his shop. But for the rest of it, there's actually an easy location to get, well, to first meet Randolph and Nana. Because Nana's right down here. As I gaze upon the flow of the river, I find myself at peace. And each time we run into people out in the world, they'll give us a glass fragment. That is extremely useful. This way might be a bit dangerous. Now, something I should be getting in the habit of doing is talking to them a second time. Most of the time it doesn't matter, it's either a repeat or they just have ellipses. Quiet flow returns to the ocean, and eventually reaches the continent. Believe that the Demon King Chronicle made its way to the continent riding this current. That is actually relevant. Oh, and since we have more glass fragments, we can equip more plus attack power. Now, it's not been at all relevant because we have not gotten into anywhere near the number of fights necessary for it. But over time, your gear levels up. Now, for weapons, it does require those weapons be equipped as a weapon. For armor, it requires them to be equipped as an armor. I thought we were ready for this, but it might be a little bit more dangerous than I was giving it credit for. And the man in that mask up there is actually Hikukumo. We'll run into him eventually. Oof. Now you might be thinking, oh, a level. That's probably good, isn't it? It's not as good as, you might expect if you're used to most RPGs. Leveling here doesn't refill your health, doesn't do anything of the sort. it's nice to increase your max HP, but if you're hoping for it to do much beyond that, it's, this isn't your game. Now we did end up getting a bit lucky there. Enemies turned in ways that were convenient to us. But we did probably miss some chests as a result. But the early game is difficult. The late game is also very difficult. And we are at the point where we can regularly, not consistently, but a fair amount of the time we will be able to two-shot the rats, which means we're only taking 1 round of damage. And that's in heal-off range. The second time we can see Nana. You want to hear something interesting? This is supposed to be the Demon King's castle. Forgetting reality and immersing oneself in illusions. Stories really are amazing. And you can see that this is directly next to the room that we saw before. Well, that's bad. But it does helpfully show off. I mean, also the fight against the demon flies also showed it off. The player character's attacks have a radius. It actually is based off that range stat. I'm just trying to let some of the healing happen. Of course, then I get lucky with where the rats move. Ultimately, that's one of the things you need to get used to in this game. I don't know how well it's showing up on stream, but there's a pretty clear line next to this. And there's a knife, and it's a bit of a threat. I think it does 5 damage. We can check. It does 5 damage. And that's not a big deal, but if there wasn't healing right there, it would be. And this? Well, this is our fast travel system. Now, there's a chest down here, but we don't have the attack power to open it. Now, Ilaria hopefully tells us, recently because of the coward, people have gotten into the habit of locking their doors. This used to be such a peaceful island. By the way, I saw Nana Elewanto in her room just a moment ago. She should have also seen Randolf in his room, I guess because we didn't come back. Now, there's some diary entries, and there's a recipe for a roast rat. I didn't realize it would pick up as soon as it walked into him. I'm gonna hold off on viewing those entries and these entries until we can see them all. I think it'll be a lot more coherent if I'm not coming back and reading them all multiple times. If you want a happy ending, all you need to do is defeat the final boss. Don't you think it'd be great if it really worked like that? Especially for promotions. What? I'm busy right now. If you want something I dug up, just take it, alright? And so the mole, who seemed kind of, maybe a bit rough around the edges, seems considerably less so now. Now, we don't have much money, but we also don't have anything to sell right now. and everything is expensive. Oh, actually, that's the expensive one. Even the cheap gear is expensive. Given that we are fucking broke. And we can make an empty bottle. Now, as you would expect, both the stamina restore, which can give some HP, and the energy restore, which is a bit more versatile, providing some skill, some agility, and some SP, have some positives. Now, in this case, because we are not using SP, and we don't have a thing to use SP because I forgot to talk to Aaron. Why don't you have a look around? Hey there, nice to meet you. I'll teach you some magic at no charge. And so we get Fire Wave. I was thinking it was Flame Wave. Maybe Flame Wave's the second tier. It's not important. Fire Wave is useful. It's a little bit going to, at least for right now, it's going to be a little bit stronger than our basic attack. And of course, there's some inherent regen. Now, those frogs are a higher tier enemy. That red rat is a higher tier enemy. Can we take them on? Probably, but probably not all of them. Definitely not all of them. Could be a death sentence. Now, you may have noticed we don't have a run option. I don't know what using the hair does either. But killing red enemies has an inherent reward. Above and beyond just the, hey, you killed an enemy that's worth a little bit more and might have a better drop. No, the reward is that enemy's gone for a little bit. This is a good way to reward players who go a little bit above what they would otherwise be comfortable taking on. You might be wondering, okay, well what's in here? Death. And if you're noticing the occasional bit of shimmering, that is actually present in the game itself. Damn it. I was trying to see both windows at the same time, and with them being on different monitors, that doesn't work out so hot. Now these knives are slightly stronger. So, you know, we have our first drop. Rat meat. Surprised it took this long to get it. But that's not the relevant part. Yeah, I'm gonna take these rats on one at a time and use them as sources of healing. Or if nothing else, so we can have enough MP to cast Fire Wave. Because that'll make the frog fight easier. And this is kind of how a lot of areas go. Yes, this is early game. Yes, we don't have much. We don't have gear yet. There's not even, we don't have much gear. It's we don't have any gear yet. We have no armor, we have no weapon. We are punching rats and frogs in the face. Now these chests that give a small amount of gold, they kind of set you up incorrectly, and it's kind of an intentional bit of yeah, these now give 2 attack each, meaning we are now a hell of a lot stronger, and when they reach their next level, which will take a while, we will be considerably stronger still. I mean, that was effectively a level. Unfortunately, 3 attack really doesn't do much. It is what it is. Actually, if we use Fire Wave, we'd probably be fine. Yeah, because it hits both. I don't think our regular attack would have is the issue. And that 1 gold, I'm pretty sure nothing sells for 1 gold, so that one's just a dick move. I know that there's a later fight that gives you, I think it's 1 gold, or maybe 4 gold or something. So it's not quite as much of a dick move as I'm kind of insinuating it to be, but it's still rude as hell. Now what we can tell from those knives is that the frogs have more than 10 and less than 15, or less than 20, not 15, less than 20 health. Now, I didn't show it off. The karate chopstick, I mean, the description does kind of cover it. It does have reduced range, but it does provide a bit of attack. And as an all-purpose, it provides extra attack +1. Now, that's not as good as it sounds. It sounds like you get a bonus attack, so obviously you want to stack as much of that as possible, right? Well, no. You have an agility % chance to get an extra attack. The 3 additional attack will probably be sufficient for most things. And I'll fix the web captioner for next time. We're not anywhere near the 30. With a level and a couple gear levels, we'll be at the point of being able to hit the 25, but it'll be a little bit before we're at the 30. And yeah, a fair amount of the game does end up being waiting around because of that recovery system, but I mean, the alternative is systems where you are using just a ridiculous amount of healing. I kind of prefer this. I mean, consider, we still haven't used that stamina restore we brought with us despite having taken a hefty chunk of damage. Damn it. Oh, I can just use Fire Wave on that. And there is diagonal walking, which does make it kind of different as far as an RPG Maker game. It's somewhat uncommon. And it's not like this is one of the more recent versions or anything. This is just XP. Now, obviously, this is suggesting that, hey, there's a door here. And there's that, which should suggest that 5 steps to the left of here is another door. Well, wait a second. There's that door on the other one, but that middle one, there's nothing shaded here. And of course I'm gonna fight. I'm in the pre-fight phase, so I can't actually click it. Hey, occasionally we can two-shot frogs now. That's good to know. We get a magic bean. Magic beans are very, very important. I will... Oh, we got frog meat. Nice. I will cover that once we actually have a spot. Well, actually, no, we can use them in that spot right outside of the nest. Now, frog meat doesn't provide attack, so we're not going to use it. But it does provide a little bit HP, a little bit SP. Now, those get added by 1 each level, so that's 5 HP, 5 SP. If it were maxed out. It would take a kind of a crazy person to really max out that particular piece of gear. I suppose I should explain that. To max out a piece of gear, you need to have it equipped in 100 battles. I don't know what type of frog that is. Actually, we're probably equipped perfectly fine to take it out. Or we're gonna get our shit wrecked. One or the other. Yeah. But being that it is a red enemy, it's gone, at least for a while. And I think in that particular case, it's gone forever, but... most of the time, red enemies are just gone for a bit. And now we move on to our second area, the hamlet. Now, by default, if you were to play this game yourself, the hamlet's music would be much, much louder. Actually, I'm not 100% certain we can... Can we take on little monkeys? I know they're little squirrels on the world map. Yeah, we can take them on. Yeah, we're getting close to the point of the 25 attack. What I'm coming back for, though, is that bit of armor. It's useful to talk to people whenever you come back. A story whose beginnings are as mysterious as its incomplete ending. Don't you feel a strange appeal? I count myself lucky just to be standing in the land where the Demon King Chronicle was written. And we can sell our frog meat. Frog meat's actually worth a decent amount. And we can get the fine pajamas. You might be wondering, how are they? They suck. But we don't have a piece of armor present, so... we'll want to pick up the mirror and the notepad. And the kitchen, eventually. They're relatively inexpensive overall, especially when you compare them to things like the three-legged frog, or Xenogalis, if I can get it to click on Xenogalis. Oh, something just flat out gave me a bottle. Interesting. But the spot where we could use the magic bean is here. We're not going to, because this is a terrible first spot to use your first magic bean. Nothing up there is that useful right now. No, we are going to wait. And... oh, because I went the wrong way right out the gate. Oh, yeah, I'll just go reverse order. It won't be a big deal. Now that armor is already working out, and we got a lucky drop. Did we went up from here? I don't remember 100%. You know, we visited Nana. Oh, and it looks like there should be a hidden thing here. To the best of my knowledge, there isn't. And we did grab this item. But I'm pretty sure we missed... well, we went the wrong direction in the first room to see Iku, I think. No, and we're now at the 25 attack because the... oh no, it was just a regular level. I was thinking it was a glass fragment level. Huh, I guess I'm just mistaken on this one. It's probably a later area I'm thinking of. Not a huge deal. It won't be the first time that I walk through an area the wrong way. I'm just trying to avoid getting overloaded by rats. And this provides us an additional empty bottle. I'm trying to avoid getting overloaded by rats, I say, walking into a whole bunch of rats. And you might be wondering why I'm trying to avoid this one in the front if I'm sitting here saying, hey, I want to level up some of my gear. I mean, it's a single rat encounter. It's demonstrably not going to be that difficult. Nope. And the reason for that is because that is the first of the game's many, many dick moves. After a certain number of fights, I don't know how many it is, it's a lot. That fight switches over to a higher tier of rat. And of course, if that rat one-shots you, and you have saved your encounters near that total, anytime you leave the nest by the front door will be a harrowing experience. Now that red frog, I don't think we can kill. Oh, turtle blood. I don't know what turtle blood does. fair amount of HP, a little bit of defense. It might be worth it. That is a decent chunk of our current HP. I'm pretty sure the drop from the monkeys is a monkey tail. And I'm pretty sure it provides both attack and agility. I'm not 100% certain on the agility. No, it's attack and crit. I get a lot of the agility and crit items mixed up. And obviously that is a higher attack value than is present on the glass fragments. Meaning that once we have 3 of them, we can instead use those glass fragments for a bottle. Extra bottles are very useful, as is, well, I mean, pretty goddamn blatantly obvious. And the reason that I've been keeping them as stamina restores is because while energy restores, is that while stamina restores do suggest that they do everything that the stamina or that the energy restores do, plus provide the SP back. They only provide 25% of your HP. Given that we don't, well, I say while using Fire Wave on a turtle and currently being out of SP, we don't always need the SP. We can always try to fight some monkeys to get it back. And it's currently capped out at 3, which is a little bit low. That was a level for the glass fragments, which means that they're actually providing more attack now than the monkey tail, but a level for the monkey tail, we'll figure that up. Unfortunately, the monkeys do not do a lot of damage. They do have 2 attacks, which actually is kind of beneficial for us because they're 2 weak attacks. Meaning that even if one does crit, not likely to be a huge deal. I'm trying to avoid fighting the red frog. Largely just because I'm not 100% certain that we would be successful. If we get, once we get another level on the monkey tail, and hopefully another monkey tail at that matter, we'll probably be a little bit more successful, but that got cut off, but it's Old Lady Anna's Poison Steam Bun. It's a weird piece. Uses an item that's only dropped in chests. Chests. I swear, I'm normally... I can't even say that. I was gonna say I'm normally not this bad at enunciation, but I 100% am. 10 gold. And you can see that those red monkeys are very aggressive once we enter the pre-fight phase. Otherwise, they're mostly the same as the regular monkeys. I guess it's 15, not 10. Speaking of which, I have that in my notes. So I should, you know, actually just look at my notes. Alma, one of Zelfi's right-hand men. He's well known for his leadership and skill at commanding men into battle. He originally met Zelfi as an enemy general on opposing sides of the battle, but was recruited by Zelfi afterward. Now, there is something that happens later in the game that suggests to me that Alma is misgendered there. Now, I don't know if Japanese really has, you know, something analogous to pronouns. Obviously it does, but I don't know if they are gendered in the same way. You're not from the continent, are you? For whose sake and for what purpose are you creating this story? Well, for that yellow blob. That doesn't sound good. Also, it's really weird. When I first played this game, I hated this song. Oh, Jerky, I think, is just HP. And resist poison. That's what those Japanese characters mean. Excellent. I mean, I still wish we had gotten another one, but I suppose beggars can't be choosers. We are forced to abandon this town now. Now, we don't really have context on that. We have access to context, but we don't at present. We've not read it, is what I'm saying. And what the context would provide is why they are abandoning this town. Salad. Now, salad doesn't sound like it would be that good. Why the fuck would throwing a salad on provide a whole bunch of HP, SP, and defense? Fucked if I know, but it does. And I believe that is that we are at the point where the monkeys can only do 1 damage to us now. These monkeys. Oh, I must be mistaken. Must be 7 defense. Or it might just be once these things are leveled up. It is nice, you know, demonstrating that I don't remember that much about the early game, though. It's also just possible that they are, the monkeys are getting lucky with higher rolls. Which is one of my issues with the mid-game. Just a lot of things in the mid-game end up... Well, did you get lucky with how your damage rolls were versus how the enemy's damage rolls were? Well, then you don't need to use any resources. Well, if you got unlucky, you need to use quite a few of your very limited resources. Damn it. That was me being lazy. Upside. Oh, and this is the other side of that entrance, where we came into the hamlet. Nice, an additional monkey tail. A scaly sequin coat. Now it just seems flat out better, but it has an issue. It's almost worthless as an all-purpose, which is a shame, because the pajamas are pretty good. Okay, I admittedly need to put them in a spot to better compare, but the agility from the pajamas will be useful for a bit. And I don't mean a bit as in, you know, when I'm doing something stupid. I mean, once we actually have extra attack stuff and are equipping it, that agility will be very useful. Almost, but can't quite get our attack above 30 to grab that one in the Demon King Castle. But we've made some progress. Look at this. What a rare sight. Your namesake flowers are blooming, Camille. I wonder how many years it's been since I've seen flowers like this. By the way, I believe Randolph was in his room just a moment ago. Now, we currently have 3 bottles. And we can double that. Which is really... well, I think I'm going to bump 2 of those over. The amount we have is more than sufficient for the treks we are making. No, we're going to keep that. Really, the issue is the only things we can sell are, no, that's not true. The only things I'm willing to sell... I'm an asshole here. The only things I'm willing to sell are things that we can actually grab. Part of that is I don't remember the recipes 100%. Now, the options here are to grab the Slightly Dirty Mirror, which doesn't seem like it'd be worth it, or cooking. Well, I can actually show off why I don't care about the cooking. It took a second to show up on screen, but this is an Excel spreadsheet, obviously. Now that recipe that we have for the roast rat is for somewhere, I don't fucking know, somewhere around here. I'd missed it. Maxed out, it provides 11 HP. That's it. Its entire value is 11 HP. That isn't fucking worth it. Sure, I'll go with bucking. Sorry for hitting my mic there. The mirror, on the other hand, might not have access to anything right now. It might be worth it, eventually. Now, these are the stats. We got your attack, we got your defense, we got your range, which is unique. We will never hit 360. I don't even know what the highest is in the game, I can tell you. It's 64. No weapon equipped is 50. This just talks about empty bottles. This is the natural recovery cooking, which is useful eventually, not right now. And game progression. This is a lie. To a certain extent. It's not entirely truthful anyway. There is an intended route, and if you diverge too much from it, you're kind of fucked. Encounter more than 4 enemies. That's not true. We have not encountered more than 4 enemies. Now, we don't have the money for this, but we can see we can get energy up, which is SP, stamina up, which is HP, or critical up. And the obvious choice is crit, because, like, here's the thing. We gain 15-20 levels from now. We'll have 20 more, 30-40 HP, 30-40 SP more. Crit never goes up by level. Attack goes up, but crit does not. Now, eventually you will get... That's not true. Eventually you have the opportunity to get enough points to get all of those. We won't. There's one in particular that we definitely will not get. But in theory, you could. And for the record, the one that we will not be getting is, I think it's second from the bottom right, is deal 1,000 damage in an attack. Yeah. I don't know why I grabbed 2 of them. Sometimes I just do stupid shit. Actually, crit is present there. Maybe crit does go up in some levels for some people. I was pretty sure it was just a flat line for everybody. Yeah, it's still useful. So yeah, even though we're at the point where we can take all of this on relatively easily with... Actually, I don't know about the red enemies yet. I have to assume they're probably still dangerous. But everything else isn't that dangerous. Alone. I think going down is the way to go right. It might be going up as the way to go right. I don't... My memory of this area sucks ass, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's going down is the right way. We've avoided using any healing items, because we've been careful. And that's going to continue. I say careful, we have demonstrably not been careful, but we will be careful from this point on. That was interesting. The random variants provided the same total damage, but had a lower swing on the first. Now this is going to be... Oh, the pajamas leveled up. Apparently 7 damage is the point at which they need a crit in order to do more than 1 damage. That's good to know. And I'm grabbing the red monkey on its own, which is really a blue monkey. Because they're a fair bit more dangerous. And right now, especially if they don't drop their stuff, they're really not worth it. But we can step out and step back in. And the other monkeys are back to being present. But the red one that we killed is gone. A little bit more dangerous, but it has its own rewards for killing it. And again, I'm doing this to try to avoid unnecessarily, that being the key word, unnecessarily using our resources. Now that room up there is, at present, a death room for us. We have no way to survive it. There's 2 red monkeys. Red monkeys hurt. They hit very hard because they hit twice very hard. Even with our current setup, if we get unlucky, we can easily be wiped by a single red monkey. Why? Because if they get crits, they can easily do 20 damage over the course of 2 turns. And this room provides an option that I'm not gonna take, but it's there. That option is to cheat. Now, one of the reasons I'm not going to take it is because it's a giant pain in the ass. Basically, there is an enemy in there. And I will show off the reason why that is relevant. Being in a pre-fight phase makes it so that you don't activate things that you step on. Right here is a trap. Now, you might be wondering, Horatio, why did you run from that rat? Because it is the second tier of rat. I got extremely lucky there. I probably should have been in a fight with at least one, and possibly both of those red monkeys. I thought that red monkey was the one that was in there. So again, got lucky. And it's one of those things where this game is going to have a lot of instances where I don't deserve the luck I get, both positive and negative. If you could see that monkey, you have better eyesight than I do. He might have been entirely hidden behind a wall. And this is one of the reasons why it's very important to try to get enemies to do as little damage as possible. Because this was a very stupid move. And it didn't even pay off. Now obviously we can just go over there and heal. Eventually. Sometimes this game just is really dumb. Ah, now we are above the 30 attack mark. Which I think that's what that chest was asking for. It's possible it was only asking for 25. Kinda tough to tell just from an arbitrary standpoint. Once you're above the number, it really doesn't matter how much above the number you are. Now, I forget. As we saw above, normally when these things have items in them, they have the little shiny. The game does tend to be fairly good about that. That little pot, though, also has an item. How are you supposed to know? Well, it's a whole pot. Adventures always. That's not what I want. Love breaking pots, right? Camille is no exception. Now we can probably take on the red frog. It is a turtle. It does not appear to do a whole bunch of damage. It just has a lot of health. Now that is actually an interesting one because it is a second salad. Now is a second salad worth it? It might be. Because with a second salad, we're at 10 defense. Sure, we lose 4 attack, but we're still above that 30 attack threshold. And I believe at 10 defense... Okay, it doesn't actually do anything against the turtles. I was thinking that 10 defense dropped them down to consistently doing 2. Nope, just me misremembering. It might be that it drops the red monkeys down to consistently doing 2, or it might be that it drops the regular turtles down to... I remember 10 defense being important for something. Maybe it's the point at which the regular monkeys stop doing damage, or are consistently at 1. I don't know. A little bit of additional attack wouldn't have us consistently avoiding damage anyway. And I would like to note that bit of text is not always valid. So, most likely those flowers are camellias. Camille, camellia. But that would not be quite so obvious in Japanese. Camille's Japanese name is Himari. Himari. Okay, web captioner's not gonna get it. And of course, Himari to Camellia feels a bit of a stretch. But what a lot of folks kind of sat there and suggested is that most likely it was a combination of taking the English characters as well as the Japanese characters and rearranging them. Which is weird, but it is what it is. Oh, there was a sign, wasn't there? Path to a mountain with a great view and path to a mountain with a crap view. Excellent. Now, blue wolves, the first blue enemy we've run into, seen, not really run into, are not like red wolves. Will be. Blue enemies instead just are stronger. Try not to inhale too much of the snow here. It's not good for you. Is this a Drakengard situation? There's supposed to be a dragon living here. Who decided on that setting? Weird. Now, we've run into Randolf enough times to do his stuff. But we're not going to right now. Because there is... Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about the monkeys that pop out once you are in the pre-fight phase. Oh, we are definitely not strong enough for this area. I had forgotten how aggressive the red wolves can be. Yeah, we just saved. This is fine. Turns out, it's probably not fine. Oops. Definitely wasn't fine. So, that's our first death. Now, being in an area we're not supposed to be in, I have no problems with the death. This is just to double check. I don't remember. Yeah. I did make sure to save after talking to Hikukumo. Interestingly, it gets Kumo, but not Hiku. It got Hiku for a second. It can almost get Hiku. So the mutt's definitely the more dangerous of the two. By which I mean I should be focusing on the monkey first. I'm just dumb as hell. Now, one nice thing about going through that long transition initially is when you go back through it, it's a shorter transition. I don't know why. I have a guess as to why. I don't have a concrete answer as to why. So if you're sitting there thinking, this seems very ill-advised. Yeah, it definitely is. You see, though, this is one of the more useful spots to plant a magic bean. And it takes time. It takes real-world time for the bean to grow. This is going to go very poorly. This is probably death. Just putting that out there. Reason being, most likely we don't go first. We don't. We had no way to avoid getting a second monkey. So. And that's the thing. Because I'm doing things above and beyond the level I really should be doing them at, I can't get angry at the game for killing me. I mean, I can, but it's disingenuous. The flowers have been trampled on. How terrible. This is no doubt the work of the coward. Please be careful, Camille. By the way, I believe Randolph was in his room just a moment ago. By the way, I'm pretty sure Hikukumo was in his room just a moment ago. And Randolph, getting the fuck out is relevant for a few reasons. I'm heading to the mountain. The mountain where the white dragon lives. Now, one of the things that allows us to do is it allows us to read all of his entries, diary entries. X month, X day. Looks like he can't sleep tonight. Just like always, I start reading the story of the white dragon to him. Normally, he's such an apathetic kid, but when he hears this story, his eyes light up. When the hero defeats the dragon, he's usually already fast asleep. It's been exactly 4 years since I took him in. His body's still a little on the weak side. I want to raise him to be strong. Now, normally, if we had done this when we first met him, he would come in and we wouldn't get to read the second entry. Now, he wouldn't have dialogue. He wouldn't say anything. So I didn't consider it important. X month, X day. He used to be such a careless boy, but now he's grown quite fearless. I wonder what changed him. Maybe his new interest in sword fighting? It's rare to see a thief swinging a sword around. Kid's still shy and afraid of strangers, so he always hides behind me when someone visits. X month, X day. I parted ways with Aritz. Though he was scared at first, even my kid warmed up to Aritz. He even looked a little sad when he left. I'm still the only one who can read his expressions, though. By the way, I received a book from Aritz. He said it should be right up my alley. At least I'll have a new story to read to the kid. I'll read it to him later. Yes, I just wrote about a book, but on closer inspection, it's actually not even a full book. There's only 3 chapters to it. I think he just pawned some of his crap off on me. So yeah, in this case, the Demon King Chronicle apparently only has 3 chapters. X month, X day. It helps if I have the mic unmuted before I start trying to say this. Randolph had his 10th birthday. By the way, I'm treating the kid's birthday as the day I found him. If you compare him to before, he's gotten a lot tougher. I'm very proud of him. Still reading that book to him, the one I got from Aritz before he left. It's a story about a hero who defeats a dragon. It's similar to the story of the white dragon, but Randolph still seems to enjoy it. I want him to grow up to be strong enough to defeat a dragon. X month, X day. It's been 18 years since I left the village. I guess I'm starting to feel homesick. Returning to the village and living with Randolph in peace doesn't sound too bad. Been thinking like that lately. Sure, everyone from the village would accept Randolph with open arms. This is the last entry in the diary. Much like the book with 3 chapters, the diary only had, well, I guess it had more than 3 entries. It's a bit disingenuous to meaningfully try to compare them like that. And I believe the mole just says, "Hey, take that shit I dug up." Break time. Want to hear a story? I was incorrect. There used to be a man I was greatly indebted to. I challenged him to a fight. And I was defeated. These scars are a constant reminder. Do you understand my history now? I see. That's his answer regardless, even if you say no to that first question. And that was unique. Chapter 1, Deep in the Snowstorm. That is evidence that our that Randolph story can be started. Bell counter. We actually don't have anything to sell right now. Kind of weird. And I know it's because we went up and sold our shit before we... But we can go up and we can have Randolph join our party. We can show off why that's not... Or the game can decide no. Technically speaking, from a death perspective, that did cheat me out of a death. There isn't some death lotto or anything going on, so I'm really not concerned. So, you might see that piece of armor down there. Now, because... well, for a few reasons, really. Mostly because I remember about this. I'm remembering about this now. I think I will have access to another beam relatively soon. There might be another bean up on the Dragon Mountain with Randolph. But you might be curious. Okay, well, what's that scorpion? That scorpion's an enemy that would kick our ass right now. I mean, so would lots of things, but it would probably one-shot us. So instead, we're going to try to head to the left and into that building. I might have gone the wrong way. I almost assuredly did. I don't think there's a way out here. Yeah. Okay, so we have gotten to the point where the monkeys pose no threat, aside from when they get crits. And even the crits aren't that dangerous. I'm not 100% certain how dangerous the red monkeys are, though. Fortunately, they have not respawned, so I'm not... You know, I don't have an urgent, pressing need to fight them right now, but... I will eventually. And even though Randolf has gone off to the Dragon Mountain, he's still here. Indeed, until we have finished the mountain, Randolf will still be in all of the points where you can find him. Which is good, otherwise you would want to avoid returning to the nest until you have all of those points that you care about done. I'm not gonna bother with all of them. Randolf has a handful that are just absolutely bizarre. Way too far for any sane person to ever see. Well, I think most sane people probably wouldn't play this game in the first place, but... I mean, here's the thing. Calling it my favorite game isn't disingenuous. It's true. It's, you know, it's one of those, okay, it's either this or Saga Frontier 2, really. For some reason, my brain didn't process that we were fighting a red enemy until we'd already killed it. Oh yeah, we could have talked to Nana an additional time. But I also fully understand this isn't a good game. Or at least it's not at the same tier of most of the other games I really enjoy. This gives us a glass fragment, a spot to use the magic beam, Milolanas. A very ill-tempered person normally, he's renowned as a soldier who has a strict sense of duty. He was originally taken in and owes his current position to Zelfi, who does not discriminate soldiers by their upbringing or ancestry. He's well trusted by his men. And for various reasons, the game seems to kind of suggest that Mole is Milolanas. I was kind of hoping, since we got a drop, that it was going to be the turtle shell. Not the turtle blood, but it is what it is. Actually, it's going to be quickest to go back. Oh, weird. We have too much health. We still have too much health. If I was thinking, I would have just ran into that additional turtle. Try to get the drop. Because having additional enemies increases drop rate. Which is good and relevant because the drop rate for almost everything sucks ass. And I don't mean that in a, oh, huh, yeah, the drop rate's bad. I mean that in a, almost everything has an inherent drop rate of whatever the additional enemy per encounter drop rate is. And I don't know what that is. I haven't done enough digging through the code to check that. But what I'm saying is most of them prior to... Basically, there's two tiers of drop rate. They are 0, which is almost everything, and 100%, which is things from like one-time encounters. We might be strong enough to deal with this and not give a shit. Not necessarily not give a shit, but certainly strong enough to deal with this. I keep trying to get 3 rats and it just ain't happening. Oh, I guess they have a little bit more health than I thought they did. Even with that, even with 5 enemies, multiplying the drop rate by 5 times what it normally is, it still sucks ass. Oh, and for the record, those can kill you. Last fragment, unsurprising. The vast majority of the chests in the game are glass fragments. I don't remember what all was over here. So. Given that nothing can hurt me, I figure it's worth it to double check. I know there's not an quick escape over here, unfortunately, but... Oh, we can't cast the spell. Yeah, it was just the karate chopstick. Actually, some of our stuff might be getting to the point. Oh, yeah. I can't really tell on the little actual game window, but I can tell on the OBS preview. Now that's the same amount of defense, and you might be wondering, well, why am I swapping it out in that case? And the reason is so that I can get agility. Ooh la la. Somewhere right here. Also, it's the same amount of defense, so we're only losing HP and SP. We're gaining some crit, we're gaining agility. Right now, agility doesn't do anything for us. That's not entirely true. Agility doesn't do much for us. It does make us operate a little bit faster in turn order. That's not relevant 90% of the time. Yeah, I'm saying that even though we lost in those runs where I was trying to get that magic bean in a specific location because of turn order. That is almost never relevant. It was relevant there because I was out of my league. Yeah, the center one's open, so I'm pretty damn sure we got the stuff here. How many fragments do we have? We have a lot. When you've set yourself up to not need to go back a huge, super frequently, you really just tend to accumulate glass fragments. Oh, what do the rat whiskers do anyway? Not much. Now we could purchase the kitchen and we could make a roast rat now. I'm not too concerned about it. Oh yeah, before we do that, I can go talk to Nana. Oh, and the red monkeys have respawned. We can find out how much damage they do to us. Still, quite a bit. Monkey paw, monkey paw, monkey paw. What the fuck is a monkey paw? Well, it doesn't curl, so who cares? I think to a certain extent my brain is still kind of operating under the assumption of there are some items that increase your drop rate, and it's really, really useful to get them as soon as possible for obvious reasons. They not only increase your strength, they increase your money. Which has its own way of increasing your strength. This is a very quiet place. When I come here, my heart is put at ease. Now, Nana is kind of strange. We tend to find her in a lot of spaces that are pretty enclosed, or difficult to get to, or just otherwise huge pains in the ass, or where it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's one of those, well, when people join you, they're always at level 1. And it's kind of strange. Because frequently you can find them in areas where 30 levels higher than they are is not sufficient for it to be safe. I'm pretty close to that Fire Emperor sword, I'm pretty sure. I was incorrect. Hey, come over here. Recently, there have been multiple incidents of a mysterious person tearing up the residents' stores and stealing their gold. There's a name for this person. We've been calling them the Coward. However... Alright, let me be frank. The true identity of the Coward is one of our residents. All the information gathered from the crime scenes point to this fact. Camille, you're the newest person here, so there's no way you're the Coward. I feel like I can trust you, so what I tell you now stays between us, okay? I've been laying out plans to catch the culprit in a trap. There's 100 gold hidden in the jar. That's what I told Leilaria. At the same time, I told Hikukumo there's 200 gold hidden in the dresser. Just like that, I've told all the residents where I've been hiding my gold. I've been giving out this information with great care while being as subtle as possible. Take a look at this note, please. Drop a memo pad like this on purpose, and let the culprit pick it up. Month X, day X, stashed 100 gold under the jar, try not to forget. Other notes, XXXXXXX. Very embarrassing information about my private hobby is written in the XXX part. What do you think? If it's a nice person who picks this up, they'll probably think about it for a second. And probably experience some awkward and unpleasant thoughts before pretending like they didn't see it, right? On the other hand, if the Coward picks it up, how will they react? I'm looking forward to this. I hate to repeat myself, but I really do trust you. You're the only one who knows about this. I doubt I need to worry about you telling anyone else anyway, because you're a silent protagonist. Now I just have to wait for them to get caught in the trap. This is exciting. This is pod racing. So yeah, we can, I mean, it's pretty obvious who the Coward is, but if we were to walk back into Aaron's shop, we could activate that. I'm pretty sure. We might have to leave the hamlet, or leave the nest and come back, but... Now this time, I'm planning on it being a little bit different. And I'm actually going to try to attack some of the enemies here. I want their drops, mostly. Now, I'm going to avoid the blue mutts. Basically, it's a matter of, I know one of the enemies here, drops a good item I care about called nails. Nails are a fast attack item. Will you come with me? You can nod or you can shake your head. Now Randolf actually is higher level than I was thinking. He comes in at level 5. Now, we don't have a lot of good defensive items, unfortunately. It is what it is. So, now the sane person would probably put something like, you know, salad on them and things of that nature. We are going full stupid. Now, obviously, when you leave the area that he is supposed to be in, he leaves your party. But when he rejoins your party, he still has that equipment on, meaning he joins us with 73 SP. I have no idea how well this is going to be picked up, how visible this is. That enemy is effectively invisible for me. I can't see them. So, that lightning hits like a truck because of that 62 skill. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Now, obviously, under ideal circumstances, I would have remembered that I want to put the skill things on Randolf. The Randolf that nearly died there. I don't think we can take that on successfully. Yeah, I can give it a shot. The problem really is that Randolph is just all of our damage. We are underpowered relative to this area. Which, I mean, feels ridiculous. We have access to this area. So, this is, again, it is a improvement over the monkey tail. Now, it does not have the crit. Boo-hoo. It's an unfortunate loss. But as it levels up, it will have more attack. Might be worth it to replace the salad with it. Now obviously, once we start to get low on SP, we need to get out. And I think that's just a little bit more dangerous than I'm willing to put up with right now. As Randolph's gear levels up, the salad in particular he will get a lot more powerful. Or the hare in particular. I said salad because that's what just leveled up for. Come here. Well, this could be very bad. I didn't mean to actually do that, but I meant to see if Camille was at the point where she could use Fire Wave. Well, that would have been very bad if Randolph did not have enough for lightning. And we can't see quite how many fights we have had for that, but... that is another nice, solid indicator that we are really not strong enough for that area yet. Neat. The red monkey actually got crits on both of its attacks. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is get into fights with a whole bunch of things to try to get item drop. Unfortunately, even with that, the drop rate, as I've mentioned a whole bunch of times, is shit. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go around and see if... Oh. I guess I didn't realize how narrow those walls were. This will also be a little bit useful for leveling up the scaly armor, sequined armor. I thought we did enough damage. But yeah, even these enemies don't do much damage. The only dangerous ones here are the red monkeys, blue monkeys. Oh yeah, the turtle shell is... It's our first piece of sporadic guard gear. It sucks aside from that, but sporadic guard is a interesting and somewhat useful trait. Oh, charge is where it can still do damage. Sporadic guard gives you a agility % chance. Damn. So close. To defend even though you're not defending. I don't think it's actually agility %. It might be. Yeah, sometimes it seems like it's higher, sometimes it seems like it's lower. That's almost assuredly actually just agility %. And of course, Camille has pretty decent base agility, 30. And there's some gear that increases agility by a fair amount. But most of the gear that we will have access to while the turtle shell is at all relevant, which it already kind of isn't relevant because of the salad. Sucks entirely as far as agility goes, and will not provide enough to make sporadic guard worthwhile. For the entire... oh yeah, we don't have enough of that. For the entirety of the time where turtle shell is our best sporadic guard piece. So right now I'm dicking around trying to wait for that vine to grow. Because, I mean, it's on its last stage. So I'm certain it's less than 5 minutes. It was one room transition, apparently. I don't think it's actually based off room transitions. I'm pretty sure it's based off actual time. And this is the weapon we're going to be using for a while. Latte. I am certain I butchered that. We won't be seeing the extra attack very frequently. Not that most of the enemies here can survive the increased attack. Actually, let's take the quick route out. So we can get back to getting murdered on the Dragon Mount. No. What I was saying there is I started towards the left and then remembered, no, we have to go through the house here. Getting in a few fights will be beneficial because it will provide a level for our new weapon. Eventually. I mentioned I had that in my notes and still have not actually looked at my notes. It's difficult to scroll that down while not actually looking at it. Partially because the notes aren't actually on screen for me. Which was real clever, just for the record. Oh, I have it. Just barely off screen there. So it's 15 fights. And that is cumulative. 15, 50, 100. And if you're wondering if I can see those wisps, I know that they're there. I know they are present. I can't fucking see them. They might be a little bit more visible on stream than they are for me, so I'm not 100% certain on that. But yeah, Camille is doing about twice as much damage to these as she was before. Yeah, and we got our first extra attack. And the reason why I did grab additional energy restores is because they don't care about how much SP you have, they just recover it all. So for Randolph, with his 74 SP, it's still a full restore. That could have been very dangerous if that disciple had gotten about one step closer. The Keldalade doing additional damage is providing a lot of utility for... Oh, and we see from the hair leveling up, that's a lot of extra SP for Randolph. That will also result in more lightning damage. And given that that's where most of our damage is coming from, that's a good thing. Although we appeared to have gotten a low roll there. Randolph's first level sucks. That's going to be true for a bit. Almost everybody that joins you has some pretty crappy first levels, early levels. Yeah, actually getting in that fight's fine. Now, I was expecting the additional skill to result in more increased damage than it actually has. Oof. Now, this is rough because the AoE on lightning is almost nothing. It's present, but it's more present technically than feels like it ever actually is. We're going to heal Camille and then we're going to res. Which might be a bad idea. They can potentially... They did kill Camille. This is a wipe. Because we can't kill both of them. Yep. Unfortunate. So, have to take it a little bit slower. That's what happens when I click off the game. It just temporarily pauses. I was trying to see if the preview works a little bit better for seeing the wisps. It doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. Or maybe I just needed to figure out what to look for. Oh, just HP. That's actually still okay. The horn is probably worth swapping in though. No, I do think the preview is actually helping more than... Oh, nice. Another one. Than I was giving it credit for initially. Huh. I had not noticed that little character there before. It probably had been there, and I just didn't notice it. Wouldn't be the first time I missed something that was pretty obvious. Of course. Now, the Chatty Barber is one of the big gets from this area, so... It requires, as you would guess from the name, it requires a hair. This hair. And a item that we don't actually have access to. That's one of the reasons why I was trying to use the magic bean in the slightly later area. Well, in the mountain area. I don't actually remember the real name for it. Real name for it might actually just be Mount. And again, this can go very poorly. But lesson learned from last time, the two enemies do the same amount of damage to Randolf effectively. We can maybe wait? Yeah, if we get lucky against disciples or wisps, we can... Yeah. Probably wait until we... Oh, hey. There's a different enemy right here. She's a one-time enemy. We're probably fucked. No, she doesn't do that much damage to Camille. But she is faster. And Camille's... Oh, Camille did not die there. I guess it depends on if... Yeah, she just loves attacking Randolph, so... I think we're dead anyway? Yeah, because we're not doing enough damage. Yep. Yeah, it happens. Especially when you get over cocky because you've been able to do sufficient damage. Did we not clear out the left? Oh, we grabbed that chest. But this is kind of indicative of how slow you need to do this when you are a little bit shy on gear. And even if we were to clear out all the red enemies, we would still need to head back for purposes of healing. Yeah, the Avalanche Spirit is to the left there. A little bit too close to the enemy for sake of comfort. Oh, I did actually manage to save those drops, so we can go back and sell those. I don't think that's enough to get the sword, though. It does have a tiny amount of range. Wait a second. I sometimes forget that agility is not 100% indicative of who will actually go first. There is a little bit of RNG there. Now, we are somewhat unlikely to get too screwed by it, just because it is mostly based off of your actual agility, but yeah, because We actually have more items there than I was thinking we did. And of course, because Aaron's not in his shop, we can... Oh yeah, we have the karate chopstick. We can equip that on Randolph. Now, the Varnished Birdwing is a much better piece of gear than the other items I have. But it would also take a fair bit to save up for it. Do we have any other achievements? Oh, we actually have a couple. More than 3, more than 5. I assume that's 7? Oh, 30 chargers. 30 chests. 150 battles, take 20 damage. Randolph took a fair bit more than 20 damage. Unfortunately, that puts us below the point at which we can purchase the Fire Emperor Sword. Flame Emperor Sword? Is that why I was thinking it was Flame Wave? No. I don't know why I was thinking it was Flame Wave. Now, we won't see a huge amount of that, the 2 perks I did pick up. And I don't remember the math on exactly how much they do. Actually, we will see. That's full. I don't... Well, it might have been sufficient for 5 before. But Randolph's SP should last for a lot more fights when he only does 1 cast. Yeah, because that... I mean, I guess I should just wait it out to see how much it is. 7, apparently. And since his max is so high, it refills almost instantly. A single tick and it's good. Which is kind of ridiculous. Or near enough to a single tick. Yeah, I apparently stopped just shy on that one. For some reason I was... Even though I know that I killed the red that was right up front in this room more recently, my brain still was going, oh yeah, we'll need to kill them again. And there's the avalanche spirit up there. Oh yeah, I meant to equip the weapon to Randolph. It won't have a huge impact. Randolph's spells have a relatively minor adjustment from attack power, but should help a little bit. I should have saved. Well, I saved when we entered the room. Yeah, I guess it depends on how much damage we do here. Nope. And we can't go first, so... That one is still very RNG. Well, actually, yeah, we didn't gain any levels or anything, so... Popping in with everybody at full health. And of course, this time it went much easier. The Snow Maiden. Doesn't do much. Now, it wouldn't be a terrible choice for Randolph if it provided some skill. It does not. That recover SP when defending would be useful, but it's just kind of not as a result. Recover SP when defending does 10% of your SP. I think rounding down. I say that because I think everything in this game rounds down when it has the option. That's not true. Item level ups round up. Sometimes. I guess they only round up to make it so that if you have an item that has a stat, leveling it up still increases that stat. Otherwise, leveling up things like blast fragments and such would be extremely pointless. And the notepad, which we have not acquired, actually has a very important use. It tells you if you've gotten all the chests from an area. I'm pretty sure we've gotten all of the chests from this area so far, but obviously we've not gotten this red chest. Sagarmatha. Pickles grown this season. Oh, an actually decent item for Sporadic Guard. Oh, and I forgot to equip the weapon. Now, once the Keldalata is leveled up, we'll probably switch Camille over to the Sagarmatha. Just because, well, this has a good chance of going poorly. Especially since he can only hit one of those at a time. Thank you, extra attack +1. Now, this is final area for this area. If there were a chest here, I wouldn't be able to see it. I also don't know, well, that's not true. I think the music goes away so that when the boss music starts up, it comes out of kind of nowhere. But as I mentioned, once we cleared out the enemies, we still want to head back so that we actually have some healing for the fight. That's annoying. Now we don't have to worry about getting out of a dungeon once we beat the boss. Ah. So, there is the distinct possibility that once we finish this and head back, or grab our healing items and head back, we will still be facing some reds on the way up. Unfortunate. Oh yeah, and there was one, there actually is a reason for me not to finish up that right now. There is a spot where Randolf shows up later in just the regular-ass mountain area. Do we have glass? We do have glass fragments. As we are not going to finish up the mountain right now. It doesn't matter if I refill on them. Similarly, since I know we can go in and do the Leilaria event, I will do that because I don't remember what all it unlocks. And I know it's not a big deal to do it with just Camille. Everyone, please gather. I have a very important announcement. Everyone, please gather. Emil, you're the coward, aren't you? Such an unfortunate turn of events. I saw what you did. No use trying to hide it. I saw you pilfer gold from Aaron. You're the one destroying everyone's treasured stories too, weren't you? I really hate to do this, but we will have to punish you for this. First of all, you must return the gold to Aaron. Even if it was only 200 gold, it doesn't affect the weight of the crime. Now, hurry up. Oh my, this is really terrible. One of our lovable residents was actually the enemy we've come to despise so. Aaron, it really was an unfortunate turn of events. Thank you to everyone for Laylaria. Do you remember the memo where I wrote this plan down? Showed the hiding place for my gold, and other embarrassing personal things which I can't talk about here. Do you remember that memo? I would totally steal 200 gold from Aaron if I could. Especially when he was out of his shop, it kind of bugs me that we can't just steal everything. There's like a 9,000 gold chess piece in there. Besides, he steals all of his shit from other people. Of course I do. And just as you expected, the culprit fell for the trap completely. I expected nothing less from your genius plan, Aaron. Yeah, about that memo. I never gave it out to anyone. What? This really is unfortunate, Laylaria. You're the only one I trust. So you're the only person I can tell this to. I told that to everyone here. That's right. Said the same thing to everyone. However, I made sure I changed the details each time I told it to a new person. Each time I told the story, I changed just one single detail. Whether it was the who, where, or how much. Oh, shut the hell up, you little prick. You think you can lecture me over 200 measly gold? I mean, Aaron probably is not the one to be doing the lecturing. We've not gotten into it yet, but of all people, he is really not the one to I still find it kind of amusing that Randolf does not have a picture there. Now I know where we're supposed to go. It's the same spot where we found the hair in the first place. And this is the first area that we come across where the music doesn't interrupt the, or doesn't get interrupted by the fight theme. Huh? Did I make you angry? At what exactly? You can all just burn in hell for all eternity. And her attacks actually do more damage than I remembered. Well, okay, that's not true. Her special attack does more damage than I remembered. But there's an issue. That issue is, High Heel Kick requires SP. And we very nearly died to it because I'm a dumbass. Her name's Anonymous Coward because I guess the writer maybe considered the player possibly being too dumb to realize that she was the coward. I really don't have a reason to use Fire Wave anymore with even just the basic ass chance of extra attack now. And we get Ruined Story from that. And a boss fade out. And that stays unlocked. Actually, I'm gonna save because I'm gonna do something stupid. Now, we have a big, deep hole. Demon King Chronicle is perfectly happy to let you jump in the hole. Oh, that's a low roll. That is, I think, the lowest I've seen that. So it's, you know, only twice our HP. A little bit more than twice our HP. That was unexpected. I was expecting it to be more like 250, which is what it normally rolls. I was expecting to die. Well, it looks like this was being used as the coward's trash heap. I was especially expecting to die when it asked me twice. Inside this hole, there must be many stories laid to rest. Certainly it's depressing just thinking about it. I don't think there's anything else in this room, though. Oh, I thought we had 3. And we're still a little bit shy on money for the, well? Never mind that. I don't remember what it does as an alt. Why did I go to the bottom? It's actually pretty decent. Just has the issue of weapons don't level up in the all-purpose slots. And well, actually it'll probably be good for Randolf once we switch Camille over to the Keldalata, or to the Sagarmatha. And no, I do want to actually save. I know I just healed and saved, but I'm gonna be doing stupid things. No, the damage really fell off with us getting more defense. Like, I'm certain the red one is still very dangerous, but these went from probable death with just one monkey to just not that dangerous anymore. Now, I don't remember exactly where Randolf is in here. Bushy tail. I was misremembering. I don't know what that does. Just HP. And like almost all just HP items, kind of worthless. If we had a little bit more agility, we could consistently go before the no monkeys. Well, shit. That's game over. That's just 12 damage. And, you know, like a million mutts and snow monkeys. Okay, so, again, just don't get into a fight with... I think there was 12 enemies? Probably more like 7 enemies? The red mutts actually aren't as dangerous as I was expecting them to be, though. I figured they would do more damage than they do. I do find it amusing that they are red enemies and their sprite is green. Yeah, just need to take these slowly. Yeah, so long as we don't grab too many enemies. We're mostly fine. And we're definitely already starting to see that, in some cases, crits are possibly more valuable than those extra attacks. Although when you get extra attacks and both of them crit, well, that's kind of nuts for damage. For where we are anyway. I don't fully remember how dangerous the blue mutts are. But I have to assume, based off of the red ones not being near as dangerous as I expected. Here, most of the danger is actually coming from the snow monkeys. With those out, this isn't that bad. Though, of course, if the Christmas mutt crits, that's a different matter entirely. And apple is the item that I thought dropped from the blue. It's okay, it's mostly just preventing poison. Resisting poison. Wait. No, apple drops from the monkeys. I could have sworn it dropped from the mutts. And here's Nana. I think I have you figured out. You're burdened by other people's stories, aren't you? Just like Randolf and Hikukumo. As for your story, I hope it leads to a happy ending. And as always, that provides us a glass fragment. Which, in addition to advancing their own stories, is one of the real reasons to talk to people. I don't remember this little hole, so this is probably something I always miss. No, I think this is actually the way forward. Oh. I should have figured that it wasn't a recipe by the fact that it didn't give it to me when I walked into it. Yeah, this is the magic bean for this area. I'm gonna plant it and then we'll continue on with what I was doing in this area. It'll be useful for when I no longer have a use for the hair. Which won't be for a while. Fire Wave is still useful because its fall off on secondary targets is not as much. Nothing over on that side. I prefer to avoid getting into a fight with the blue ones, because they might be more dangerous than the red ones. I do not fully remember how capable they are. Especially since the game seems to be pretty lenient on actually putting them out there. Most of our gear's doing okay, but still have a little bit before we are at that 100 encounters for either the Horn or the Caldalade. Nearly ran into the red mutt. I don't want to say intentionally, but like sort of intentionally. It is even more aggressive. Well, I guess I should say it's smarter about walking towards me than most enemies. It can get around minor bits of traffic. Well, fuck. I'm real glad that Fire Wave covers a large area. Now, I think I'm actually looking for this one, maybe? No, I think this one just gives me a chest. A chest and possibly death. Well, no, they're apparently not as dangerous as the red ones. Interesting. So this just gives us a little bit of an area where we can take a temporary reprieve. And this is a hole, but it's not a dangerous hole. Some of those holes are dangerous though. And this is a fairly familiar spot in here. Because it just comes out to the same spot that we would go for the hamlet. I could have healed, but we're not going to be here that long, I don't think. I should heal, I don't remember how much longer I need to go in the snowfields. And of course, normally when you're doing that, a sane person has completed Dragon Mountain and is a fair bit stronger as a result. Oh yeah, I should check out the... Oh, no, I did check out the... But I did not show off. White dress is actually better than I remembered it being. And as an all-purpose, it's also pretty good. But it's kind of spread out, so it's not great. I guess maybe comparing against the horns would be better. Didn't actually remember to heal. I don't think. Oh, that is who drops the nails. The nails are, I mean, they're mostly relevant as a fast attack item. Doing exactly what the name would suggest. Might be worth it entirely just to guarantee first strike. Given that that is one of the things that has been forcing us to take some level of damage. And I think another monkey snuck in there. And somehow we did not get any drops from that. Marbled meat. I think it's just an HP item. So I think it's an item that can be used to heal, but I think as far as gear goes, it's just healing, or just HP. And this area is a pretty good example as to why the snowfields are kind of a pain in the ass. There are a lot of areas. A lot of enemies, and so you're going to get into a lot of encounters. And of course, the one encounter you want to get into, which is the one unique enemy in this area, is a white sprite, and I don't remember which room it's in. Now it's still visible, because of movement if nothing else. But it's a fight that you're pretty much more likely to luck into than find intentionally, which is annoying. The nails apparently have a good drop. Oh, there it is. That is arguably, the most important early drop in the game. Now, it doesn't seem that good, but it increases its stats by 100% each time it levels. So eventually that's 20% crit. It also has some level of evade. I think it's 12% evade. It's a lot better defensively than its stats would suggest. Unfortunately, magic defense and evade are both hidden stats, which really kinda sucks ass. I don't know where would be a good spot to show them, but not being able to see them anywhere just kinda ends up making certain pieces of gear stand out for reasons that don't entirely make sense. Has a bit of the kind of like a kids talking on playground type feel. So I found stuff that I didn't mean to show off necessarily. I can't find the room where Randolf is. Like, I know it's up from one of these rooms. Maybe it's this? Did I finally find the correct room? Probably not, but I can pretend. Wait a second. Wait a second. This should be the right room. I could have sworn Randolph was supposed to be in front of that room. This is another big drop. Again, we don't have the stats to survive it. I think this one is actually the big drop of the game, though. Also, why are there no abominable snow monkeys here? As a secondary weapon, or as a all-purpose, it does have a decent amount of skill. That'll be, I think, 32 once it's leveled up. So that's a good weapon for Randolph. And it's a appropriate weapon, given that Randolph backwards is Vladimir. Oh, we're gonna take extra damage. Oh, we can open this now. I think it was 55. And I want to save before checking that out. Because I think I know what it is. I think that leads to a area that is, kind of the next area after the snowfields. But I'm mostly checking because I'm not 100% certain. I think it's the sands, though. Oh, yeah, I could have just walked up to it. Anyway, that is going to be it for me. thank you for watching. I will be back with more of this Monday. I'll also actually look up to see where the fuck Randolph was. So, thank you, and I'll see you then.